Muntons is 90 years old, and we've been established here since about 1948. So we're about the 20th largest maltings in the world, but we're one of the biggest producers of malting ingredients. And that malting ingredients to us is malt extract, it's flours, it's flakes, the inclusion you get in breads, and it's a range of other products that add colour or flavour or texture to baked goods. Big markets for us are obviously into Scotland, but also into Japan. The Japanese market is really incredibly active at the moment. The reason for that is they, years ago, one of the key distillers now, he came and trained in Scotland, and he married a Scottish lady. They went across to Japan just before the war, difficult time to be there, but they set up their own distillery, and they've just made a story in Japan about them. It's really caught on. So anybody who drinks whiskey is really interested in this heritage of whiskey. So we sell a lot out to Japan, and we sell a lot of malt into Scotland because Scotland can't produce enough of its own barley to make the malt. The threat that we thought was going to be there was in land going to produce wheat for biofuels. Doesn't seem to have happened, so that's good. We haven't yet seen the impacts of climate change, which would reduce the growing of it, but the margins that people get for growing malting barley, for example, are much less than they can get for just putting in material for animal feed. So there's a constant persuasion there, from our perspective, to help the farmer grow malting barley. And that's why we use the sustainability agenda, because through our discussions with farms and supply chains, we can actually minimise and reduce their costs, improve their margins without us having to pay more. And if we can do that, we can encourage them to grow malting barley, because it effectively widens that gap that they think they can get by growing malting barley. If we want to increase our business, and we're putting more business through a malted ingredients factory, and it's the malted ingredients factory that needs the anaerobic digestion plant. We're not connected to a local sewer, we don't take water from the local authority, so we have to process everything that is a liquid waste on site, so that it can go into the local river. Without the anaerobic digestion, we couldn't have done that. So when we started 5 years ago, there was very bad press about AD. People didn't know whether they worked or whether they didn't. So we had a period of about 3 years when we actually trialled equipment, because everybody came and said, yes, our equipment will handle malt. Has it? No. Well, we're not going to buy it then. So we went through about 3 years of proving it. So that then when we went to the banks, and they said to us, look, a third have not worked at all, a third of plants maybe worked, and a third have worked as we would expect them to do. We said, we know which third we're in. We're in the third that will definitely work because we've trialled it. And that sort of warmed them up slightly. But it was a very slow process, frustrating if you like. So although it's opening, it's running now in commissioning, it's opening in September, I wanted it 5 years ago.